Hi everyone, and welcome. I'm going to do a small presentation, a short presentation on creating attendance, enrollment, and recruitment action plans. So let's just jump right in. So first of all, I wanted to go over what our policy says. So the policy states when your attendance as an agency in your early Head Start, regional Head Start, or early Head Start child care partnerships, or migrant and seasonal Head Start program falls below 85% as an agency in any given month, you will be requested to submit an attendance plan to the grantee. The enrollment plan will be also submitted to the grantee anytime you are under-enrolled or not on track to meet full enrollment. And for our regional, early, and CCP programs, we are required to be fully enrolled at all times with no vacancies more than 30 days. And for migrant seasonal Head Start, we are cumulative enrollment, so that's why it says are on track, because we track your average percentages within the program year and different times and points throughout the year. You will be notified if you are required to submit a plan to us based on that. The recruitment improvement plan is also submitted to the grantee anytime you do not have a viable wait list to fill vacancies as vacancies occur. Now, please note this recruitment plan is not your program recruitment plan that you're required to have as part of the program performance standards, but this recruitment plan is a little more detailed and targeted, and the outcomes are tracked very specifically so that we can work together on what's working and not working and maybe share some ideas and really track the outcomes. I also wanted to make sure I note that these are plans that are required to the grantee. You are still required at your individual level to work with individual children and families on their attendance and enrollment with their plans. So we're looking at the big picture as the grantee when we're monitoring you monthly, but we also look and make sure you have systems and processes in place for supporting and following up with individual children and families on their attendance and enrollment processes. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. So what is the process for these plans? Well, it's your quality assurance team person or lead will request these plans from you as appropriate. So you will be alerted with an email if you owe us a plan based on our electronic monitoring for that month. So when we look at the reports that we submit, we will see your attendance, enrollment, we look at your waiting list, and all of those items, and then we will determine which reports we need to request from you, or which plans, we need to request from you. All of these versions of the forms are on the CFS Help Desk. All of them are under ERSI to make it easy. So you can find all these forms under the ERSI section, and they are also usable for ease of use. So the first one I'm going to show you is ERSI 16, and this one is used for the enrollment and attendance. So you will either use this if we request an enrollment plan, you can use this form, or an attendance plan, you can use this form. We want to make sure that the form was simple so that you can spend the time focusing and brainstorming with your teams on how and what information you're going to include on this form. But it's pretty straightforward on the information you should include. So here are some things for you to think about. Specific challenges and barriers to meeting the attendance percentages. So be specific, right? So was it sickness? Was it an outbreak? Was it transportation? Were there some family emergencies? What happened? Because if we don't identify the barrier that is affecting your attendance, you can't really start to have solutions and problem solve on how to support attendance get better. What specific strategies will you implement for each identified challenge barrier? So again, when you are putting your strategies in there, they need to correlate to whatever barriers you listed, okay? They should connect. You shouldn't have something listed as a barrier such as sickness, but then your strategy is we're going to provide transportation, okay? If it's transportation, then you can say, oh, we're going to work with families on seeing how we can utilize public transportation, etc. Just a small example. Then who's going to be included in the plan? Who's going to be part of the plan? Is it your teacher staff? Is it your family service workers? Is health staff involved? Is your families going to be involved? Is the coach going to be involved? Who's all going to be involved in this plan? And then how are you going to engage families and staff, right? Because we want to make sure that there is buy-in and that we do some things that are fun to increase attendance, or we're really talking about and case managing the barriers so that we are having effective strategies in place. Plans should be meaningful and based on actual data and measurable outcome to your actions. I'm going to tell you right now that I've been very lenient on plans the last couple of years, but I'm going to start giving them back and asking some open-ended questions and asking for edits if they are just being filled out each month and they're putting the same things over and over. Because what's happening is that's not beneficial to the program, it's not beneficial to the children, families, and it's not beneficial to really putting the effort forward on improving attendance. The purpose of this form is not for you just to fill it out and give it to me to make me happy. It's really to help us be intentional with our planning. So please take the time and make sure that you're putting the effort and thought into this so that it's not just something you're doing or it's not busy work, but that it's meaningful and that it's going to have an impact in our programs. And that's honestly for all these plans. I'm just happen to say it right now with the attendance, but keep that in mind. What should I include on my enrollment plan? So again, what are the specific challenges you are facing? Is there lack of eligible families? Is it the location of the sites or the family childcare homes? Are we lacking staff or providers? Are families declining services? Are our services meeting the family's needs? All of those things are challenges, right? Are we having a hard time finding income eligible families? All of those things are appropriate to list. And again, we're going to follow the same format as that attendance plan is what specific actions are you taking for each of the challenges listed? So it should be very specific. What actions are we doing for these challenges? The enrollment plan will go hand in hand with your recruitment improvement plan, which I'll get into next. Because, again, our recruitment efforts are what feeds into our enrollment, right? What will you do to recruit eligible children and families that is different? So this is what I want you to know. I don't want you just to give me the things that are on your regular recruitment plan because you've already written them down. And I don't want you just to rewrite them because that's a waste of time, right? What is different from your normal recruitment activities? That's what you're going to be including. Not repeating what you've always done. This is the recruitment work plan. And again, what is different? What type of recruitment was done? The date. Who was there? Where was it? What was the outcome? When you're looking at what type of recruitment, I want to know, who are you targeting? Are you going to the gospel mission? Are you going to the woman's haven? Are you going to the CSA office to target families who qualify for SNAP or CalFresh, CalWorks, right? Who will qualify for our program? Are you partnering with the foster agency? Are you going to do a presentation at a family resource center? All of those things are in addition to just leaving flyers places. That's already on your regular recruitment plan. We should not be seeing that listed here again, okay? Then what's your planned recruitment activities? The date, who, where's, pretty simple. Outcome. This should not just say applications taken, applications taken, applications taken, or one. I want to know, okay? Did you get 3 people's information? Did you get 4 pregnant women's contact information from the presentation you did at the Family Resource Center or at WIC? Did you connect with 3 social workers and be able to share about our program? That's your outcome, right? You gave information and shared with them. Wow, 14 families called and inquired after I attended the health fair. Those are the outcomes, okay? Again, don't be writing just, applications taken. I mean, I've been seeing that over and over on these plans, and I'm going to tell you, it's not very meaningful, and it doesn't help me whenever I'm trying to track outcomes of what's working and what's not. So again, please make sure you're taking these plans seriously. I do not like busy work, and I would not just give you busy work. These are our data and our backup documentation when it comes to Office of Head Start, because guess what? I get asked too, what are you guys doing about attendance? What are you doing about enrollment? What are you doing different and innovative with recruitment? So please make sure that if you need any other support when you're developing these plans, you can always reach out to the QAT team. We are willing to help and support you. If your staff needs some support with this, if you need some prompting questions to help think outside the box or ideas with recruitment, please reach out because we're always here to support you. But the last thing I want you to do is just filling these out to fill them out. They should be meaningful. They should be usable documents in your program. And I just wanted to do a quick little video because I've seen some trends, and I always feel it's great to do a little recap so that you can share this with staff or whoever needs to hear it. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope this information is helpful.